What's up, my friends? Welcome to an all-new video. U.S. Army veteran ThatChrisChaos, and today I'm here to talk to you about an issue that probably controversial in some ways. It's something that's been going on basically, I think, all year, and that is the topic of the potential that a lot of Army installations could be facing a name change because they are named after Confederate leaders. This has been a topic that has been going back and forth quite a bit. The President Donald Trump, as of right now making this video, has vetoed it and shut it down, but there's a lot of people still pushing for it. And the reason why we're talking about it now is it's coming up again because it's included in the defense budget bill that is coming up, I guess, in a week or next week or something like that. And it's kind of a part of that. The reason why it's a part of that is that if it goes through and they change the names of all these different installations, well, that's, money that has to be spent to change the name in front of the base, on the installation, to change verbiage for a lot of things, flyers or whatever the case is. So there's a lot of signs and everything that have to get changed and things that have to get rebranded for whatever the new installation name would be. Now, which installations are we talking about? Well, it's going to be things like Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, we got Fort Gordon, Fort Hood, Fort Lee, Fort Polk. There are several. Those are just kind of naming a few maybe standout ones that maybe people recognize the names of, especially places like, Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort Hood. Those are pretty big ones, right? Of big names and everything. I mean, I guess all the ones I probably mentioned are kind of bigger names anyways, but ones that, some people have some history with, either because they went to basic training there, went to OSIT there, they were stationed there, whatever the case is. And potentially those names could be wiped away and named something else. So with that, probably makes it very difficult for a lot of people. Some people have history with that. There's definitely people on both sides, a large percentage on both sides probably, to where there are people on, the one side saying that yes, we should change the names because it represents maybe a time in U.S. history that was racist or whatever the case is, and we should not honor these Confederate leaders. And then there's people on the other side that, feel like, no, this is erasing history. This is our past. This is, my duty assignment that I was at, or my basic training or OSIT, so there's a lot of kind of negative energy for both sides, I guess, of one person hating this item or this topic or that outcome or whatever. So either they want it to happen or they don't want it to happen for whatever reasons. So as I mentioned, Donald Trump, he's been trying to veto it. He's trying to turn it down, but there are a lot of people that are pushing for it. One of the main individuals that I believe kind of initially started this, or one of the main bill writers or whatever, that's kind of been writing the verbiage of how they want this to happen. Once it happened in 2021, basically in the span of 1 year. So all in 1 year, they would like to just, change all these names and change all the signs and everything in that year. There are some people that include, previous veterans, maybe some past generals or whatever in the Army and everything like that, that are still for changing the names of these installations, but want to do it a little bit differently. They want to do it maybe over the span of 5 years. So it would kind of, break up a little bit of the money that has to be spent on spending for all these new signs, plus, ease into it maybe without, drastically changing a bunch of these installation names, and they just kind of gradually over the next 5 years start changing the names. So a little bit different ways of looking at it. Trump doesn't want it. A lot of individuals do want it to include President-elect Joe Biden. So, there's a lot of politics and a lot of politicians involved with this. Now, if you want to know personally, where do I stand in? It's tough. It's a tough situation, right? Yes, I have history, like with Fort Benning, right? That was where I went to basic training at. And in a way, I don't want that name to change because that's where I went to basic training at. But at the same time, I can still see why they want to change it, right? I kind of understand from both sides. I mean, I kind of wish there was somewhere in the middle that you can kind of meet to satisfy both sides, but there's not. It doesn't matter if we change the names or we don't change the names. There is going to be a large percentage of people that are going to be upset with whichever outcome happens. It does just seem kind of weird to me to think that, let's say it goes through and it happens and they change these names, all these installations to include Fort Benning. And later down the road in my life, I'm explaining about, oh yeah, I was in the United States Army. I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. And they're like, Fort Benning, where the hell is that at? Did they close that place down? It's like, no, they changed the name because yada, yada, whatever kind of a thing. But it's just kind of crazy to think that if that happens, that at some point in time, there will be a generation of people that does not know Fort Benning as Fort Benning. They know it as whatever it replaced or whatever a new name comes about becomes. It's tough. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they do it or they don't do it. There's going to be a lot of people upset about it, right? History is being erased, but maybe your, trying to make amends for some crappy stuff that happened in the past. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just wish there was a way somewhere in the middle that you can make both sides happy, but I can't think of any way that you could do that. Now, there probably isn't a way you could do that. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, it's probably a touchy subject. For some people, they probably have, a lot of history of these installations, or maybe they have, a specific reason why they feel like, these names should be changed and it's very personal to them. So it's probably a very tough subject for some individuals, but I would like to carry the conversation on maybe in the comment section with you guys, maybe hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think, yes, we should change the names of these installations because it's racist or represents a bad, history or whatever of the United States, or no, it's just history and we should keep the names and learn from our mistakes, or whatever the case is? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on which side you're on as far as how strong your opinion is on it and all that kind of stuff. Now, at the same time, I would like to try to keep it somewhat friendly if we possibly can, right? Like I said, there's probably some people that are very passionate about one side or the other. So let's try to keep it civil and down in the comment section. So leave me some comments down below. What do you guys think about this topic? Yes, no? What do you think? Is there a historical figure you feel like would be great to have a installation named after? Maybe there's some people that don't have a post named after them. We don't have like a George Washington one, do we? Like a Fort Washington, like that could be kind of cool, right? In some way, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Or do they consider that still kind of racist too? Because I think, didn't he own like slaves? I don't know. There's a lot of politics, a lot of crazy stuff that's probably involved with this, to where you'd have to really do some deep research to make sure that, if you are changing the names of something, that it's not going to offend somebody else or something like that. And sadly, that's a little bit, of the thing that kind of drives me nuts, is that we're in this society now that like a lot of things offend people. Sometimes there are good reasons to be offended by things, and, it invokes change. And there's some reasons that, don't. I'm not saying specifically this specific topic, but it just kind of reminds you of other things. But, there's arguments for either side, right? I feel like there's good arguments for sides to say that yes, we should change them, but there's also good arguments, I think, for people saying we shouldn't change them. So I don't know. Either way though, people are gonna be upset and they're gonna be mad about it. So what can you do about it, right? Check out some of these videos right over here I got that I highly recommend checking out. I have some links down in the description for social media, Discord channel, all sorts of fun stuff. Make sure to leave a like. I'm ChristopherChaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.